insanely, incredibly volatile day, week to come. I just want to thank each and every one of you for your patience this morning. I had to get packed because we have to go to Grand Rapids in about an hour and a half. It's about a 3.5, 4 hour trip. Every 3 months, my son, he's got a G tube. So every 3 to 4 months, we have to go out there, get it changed out, get checked by a surgeon. We can do it at home, but he's had, well, I don't want to go over it, but there was a interesting experience last year. But anyhow, we're going out there. Um, and I don't miss a beat though. I still wanted to come on. I did the short this morning. I wanted to do an hour live and then I'll just get right in the car. It doesn't bother me. I like to work. I have enough respect for this audience to where even at the Detroit Opera House yesterday, because I went and seen Phantom of the Opera with Julie, Michaela, and Scarlett, which was phenomenal. It was an excellent show. It was about 2.5 hours, and I was blessed to be able to go there. Julie's mom and stepdad got us the tickets. Julie, when she was in middle school, middle school, she was told if she got all A's that she would get tickets for the Phantom of the Opera, and her mom never got them for 20 years. And we benefited because they finally got her a few months ago and said, this is from your grades, or from your middle school or high school stuff. So it's kind of cool. So I want to say this though. We'll do the intro, but I want to show you the value of technicals and how so damn impressed I am by this audience. Do you remember our ABC correction where we said the targeted price would go for XRP? I just want to commend everybody in this audience. We not only identified the descending wedge, we said A, B, C, and C would bring us up to that level right there. Now, if you don't believe in the magic of technicals, I mean, that is almost one, not just did it hit the area, look where C hit. Not only did we line it up a week ahead, it actually hit it at the exact time that we targeted it. That is pretty special. And if you're not part of the audience, you wouldn't know. But we actually identified this inside of the descending wedge, and that was our predicted movement, and we based it on a date of how quick it could go. And it almost scared me when I seen that. I seen it this morning. I'm like, holy crap. To the 2 hourly, it hit it. Look at that. The top of the wick hit our C wave. You can't make that up. Does anybody understand how crazy that is? Wow. Like, the fact that it hit the exact point where we put that is unbelievable. We measured it for February 15th, hit $1 right there, and it hit. That's insane. So now it hit my rejection. So now everybody's going to be like, Tom, what's going on? We're bearish. Until further notice, you got to step away for a minute and see how this reacts. In all reality, even H-bar might have did a 5-wave up. So if it did, man, that's okay, Crypto Plumber. The good thing is that I don't penalize people for not being a part of the army. So you just continue where you are at. I have a choice. I can make it to where when you rejoin, you have no, no seniority, so to say. But I don't do that. I make it continue so you don't lose anything. You start off right where you're at, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You should get credit for time served, so to say. But yes, I did the same thing as many. Every single trade that I did have, as we talked about in this corrective wave, those are all gone. This was a momentary movement. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. This could surprise me. I would be stunned if it surprises me, but we have a lot to go over this morning. I don't want to scare people this morning, but I think when you see how, what's the right word? How dedicated we are to hitting the numbers dead on. Now, there is one that I'm not sure about. XDC, unless it just kind of faded away, XDC still leaves me wondering a little bit. Because if XDC backtest here, and even XRP leaves me wondering if we still have room or not. But at this moment, this is very dangerous. This is a very dangerous spot. We could very well bounce this, but it is very dangerous because we came up to these resistance areas, and now we don't know a baseline. In my opinion, first level would be to try to hold the 20-day, but we very well might come right back down here on a thinly traded. Just listen, on not only a thinly, yeah, we got to be fucking very careful, man. Oh man, I liked coming on here the last couple of days. Didn't you like super bullish, Tom, the last couple of days? And remember Friday when I said, guys, there's times to go nuts. There's times to panic. And then there's times to go, we haven't had a weekend in a while when we can just enjoy a Saturday and a Friday. I said Sunday we're going to have to worry about it if you go back to the Friday's video. But at least to start, we kept saying, isn't it kind of nice? We haven't gotten this position in a while. And there was money to be made. There was legitimately stuff to be made here. Was it easy? No. Does it suck because they're swing trades? Absolutely. I'm not a trader by heart. I like to be an investor. But we were so oversold and we had such an imbalance that even I couldn't not take advantage of it. And at least we noticed it though. That's the beauty of this. All of us working in symmetry, I think we're starting to notice the strength in numbers, and we'll go over this just a little bit more. Good morning. 10:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, February 15th already. Oh my goodness. 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. What a beautiful day. Beautifully glorious, awe-inspiring day. You know, and the market may not be doing what we want it to do recently now after this push up, but what you need to do is you need to cherish the moments when you have these consolidations. You need to look at what worked. You need to understand how we identified. So if it is a 3-wave corrective wave and this doesn't hold, this is where we get the problem. This is where you're going to go, all the short traders, all the traders that came in for the short term thinking that this is going to be the complete reversal. And we could find ourselves in a scenario where we get bent over central starting now. So I would encourage everybody to take a step back this morning. You're not buying the dip yet. Remember everybody, let's buy the dip. It only looks like a dip because of how far up we were. So let's just see what happens here. The biggest problem for XRP, and I'm going to be straight up with everybody. The biggest problem, remember the descending triangle? That was the idea. We would come up there. I even said I think we'll break over it initially to get to that $1.65. And then if we get rejected, it's going to be brutal because look, we came all the way up to that area. Like that's a big move up here to $1.60, almost $7. And then to come right through it in one candle is brutal. That's brutal. That is brutal. That's the epitome of, okay, well, now we might have to come all the way back down. And we've opened up a liquidity box. Make no mistake about this right here. This is it. This is it. This is your box right here. Now it's elevated. It's changed a little bit. Well, not really, actually, but it's changed. So you don't look at the lower liquidity now. Now we look at it as, is this a support structure here? If so, this is how we continue to move. So now we have to hold this area. There's no two doubts about it. We want to hold that area, but we are significantly out of balance now. And the problem is we have a big gap now at $1.41. That's a big CME gap. You know, the big problem is we came up so volatilely and the lack of any consolidation on the top end. We were doing fine on the way up. But look, even since I started, algo was at 9.9 when I was first looking before I went into the shower. And now by the time I get out here, get done with what I need to do, and a couple hours later, look at how, this is going to fall fast. You're looking at 916 probably on algo. But this is, oh man, this sucks. I like the corrective wave up because you can be bullish. It's not that it's strictly bearish now. It's that now the market owes us a debt of gratitude to where it needs to show us like, okay, guys, either we're taking advantage of this. And I still think XDC right now, just by virtue, and I don't like where it's at in the 4-hourly, obviously, but just by virtue where you see what the rest of the market decided to do, XDC it was under a performer. XLM came up to the 200-day. XRP came up to the 200-day. Bitcoin's undervalued as well in this scenario, but that's because if it gets a rejection, then we're in trouble. Algo is just like XDC. It's a layer behind. So are these ones just not coming up and we couldn't push the resistance over the top, which is possible. That is a possible scenario because that's a third rejection if you look at it. So that's possible that they didn't have enough steam, or we're going to get a back test of the rejection point. So, but I'm in the camp right now. We're in a thinly traded weekend. We're going into the Sunday futures opening. You don't get yourself in. Oh no, you enjoy the profit made. You enjoy what you were able to do. And if you've already swing traded out of it, don't even think about doing anything now. Don't you even think about pressing that buy button. You sit back and you relax. This is where we're in balance. And you, even if it goes up, you sit back and go, hey, you know what? I'll give it to the market. It did what I didn't think it could do. Look at the separation and what we've been talking about. ABC correction hits 165, fails the whole descending triangle. Rejection, this is for today. Descending triangle sends a rejection at 156 would send us to 86 as the technical target. And we filled out the ABC now. I said, don't sell your XRP on 3 days ago. It's a trap because there was a big move coming. The urgency rises if 86 cents because we can't afford this rejection. Talked about the incoming $1.56. We thought $1.65, but that was the initial push up. So I didn't want to embellish. But now it's all about that $1.56 that comes back into play now. So, you know, I'm trying to make the titles with the pictures a nice depiction of what's going on. I really like what I was able to come up with today to try to encourage the audience to look at it a certain way. And sometimes we have to go over this entirety of what's going on so we can see where we might be going. Because this is the same amount of thought process that I put into the moves up as I put it on the moves down, if it's going to go down. So now that we have the evidence on the way down, I mean, these don't look good. These look like complete reversals. And even for XDC, you're talking about, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but to come down here now, if we don't hold this, the first area to hold is about a 2% drop from here. Then it turns into 7. Could you see the market coming down 7% real quick today? Or can you see it invalidating this entire movement? Because, man, this is going to be brutal if we do. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. We cannot, it's almost like you can't fight City Hall. We can't fight the lack of volume that are coming in at these very volatile spots. Like, it's not our fault that the market can't produce volume when it gets into these action moments. We're forcing ourselves into a very difficult spot right now. I'm a little nervous for the newcomers, to be honest, because a lot of people, I guarantee they got hammered now if they bought in at the end of the weekend or last night into this morning. We have a double bottom already for XRP. We do at $1.13, correct. But it was more like a V. But this is more, if we can't break out of here, there's no guarantee we don't break out. This is the scenario in front of us, though. I would like to think, yes, maybe we did double bottom, but if we get a failure here, this is where we have the ability now, though, to make a new bottom to 86. Because the technical target, my friend, and I 100% agree with you. We did make a double bottom down there. The problem is our technical target out of that descending triangle, if we get rejected here, is 86 cents, and we can't fight that. Now, is there an optic where we could go to 53 on a quick wick? There is. But remember, everybody, if you're new, remember the all-time pattern for XRP. The all-time pattern, we are in a cup and handle with a descending wedge for the handle. That is, I can't even describe how bullish that is, if I'm being honest. That's like the most spectacular thing I've ever seen. And yes, it can drive us into this low 70-cent range, even 73. You get a quick wick down to 60. Hell, you could bust down here quickly to 53. Quick wicks happen. But if we invalidate the structure, I don't know what happens, to be honest with you. We've been working on this pattern since believe it or not, since this consolidation in 17 before the breakup. So once it came up here in 18, we've been working on this pattern since 18. 18! If this fails now, that's an 8-year failure. I don't anticipate that happening. I anticipate this at some point, and I think we're early still, because I think this corrective wave is setting us up for the final dip. I really do. Because what better way to get people very involved in XRP that were kind of negative on it than go A, B, C up, right? And then cut it. But we don't know yet. That rejection, if it holds at $1.66, that was the perfect rejection on a short-term micro move that did not have. Look at that volume. That volume is disturbingly bad. To go up that, we went up 30%. 30. We went up 30% since that bottom of that descending wedge that we appropriately identified. Actually, it was more than that. Well, that's not the wedge. Never mind. The wedge, we went up from that $1.34. Yeah, that was the 25%. And it's already cut off half. That's a wild movement already. And we're talking one candle. We're not even through one 4-hour candle, and it's dumped off 9%. So we'll see. We'll see if there's any fortitude here or not. If there's fortitude, we'll try to bounce back up. We'll retake $1.56 before the close tonight. If there's no fortitude, we're going to be under $1.50 before we get to 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tonight. That's how dire this is now. Bitcoin came up to that brutal area, 71K. Can't seem to get past it. We still have over the top. This is the back test. The only problem is look where we're at right now in the back test. There was no volume coming up to it, and it almost looks like it put in a head and shoulders very creatively, a double top almost here. That is unbelievable how quickly it did that, but it did. Because you can go shoulder, the double top of the head, down. Maybe it does create this small pullback, and then if it comes, I mean, that's a very distinct pattern. It's trying to push outside of it, but you could do it from there. But it actually created a top-end resistance, which is unbelievable how it did this. Again. So once again, even if that's an expanding wedge, now it's got to come all the way most likely back down to the bottom and create a new low if it breaks down. And right now we're on that uptrend. And what do you call this, folks? You know how when you have a descending wedge, it's bullish? What does that look like? Out of curiosity. And we're all friends here. We're just talking. We're not trying to piss people off. What does that look like this morning that it formed? We're just having a conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Jesus. Of course. Of course. I don't put on the restriction in my live, and this is what happens. I get so disappointed with the people that spam. I'm going to have to do it now. I'm going to go to my studio and just turn them off. It's so annoying. I can't even describe how much it ruins my love for YouTube. Not all of you, but the fact that this gets worse and worse and worse. It's just. Notice I blocked out the other words and now it's this one because YouTube does not give a rat's ass about their own unless they get ad revenue. They don't give a shit. They don't care. I'm going to turn off the comments except for subscribers. See what happens when I don't? See what happens when I don't? So I apologize if you're trying to comment, but, I get so sick and tired of all that nonsense. So that's all going to be stopped now. You'll notice that stop real quickly now. But now the people that aren't subscribed lose the ability now to comment. So subscribe to the channel. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention to that. I get so damn sick and tired of the spammers. It drives me up a wall. And I can't possibly delete it all myself. It's usually one account that they just splice it. So then when you delete it, they create another spliced account. And then you delete it and they do another spliced account. And it's coming from the same IP. And I actually did it before when it was subscriber based, and if I did it on one day. But anyhow, maybe I'll nab more subs. You never know. We've been stuck at 49,600 for a while in that area. But yeah, it's usually the same spliced account, you'll notice. But notice how when I turn it to subscribers, it stops right away. So I just need to do that on all videos and lives. But anyhow, we're going to continue. It's not that I sweat it, but think about it. I want to have a conversation in the comments, and then that happens. How often do you think I look at the comments if that continuously happens over the last year now, 2 years? It's annoying. It's super annoying. And I have it on strict too, so it's not fair. I have it on strict, so they're not even supposed to spam like that. YouTube's supposed to stop it. Any repetitive words like that look like spam, which clearly is, that clearly looks like spam. YouTube's supposed to recognize it if you have it on strict. Like I have it on as strict as it can go. So what does it do? It'll block me from commenting. It'll say, oh, you can't comment that. Oh, well, I'm the creator of this program. I should be able to say whatever the hell I want, even if it is strict. But anyhow, let's continue. That's neither here nor there. John Bugathorpe, welcome in. Frankie Fresh, good morning. And thanks for being in Towns for over 1 year at the tax question you had. I have no idea. I can't give that kind of advice because I don't even know. Because it's different in every state, and with the no KYC exchanges, it's different. So you basically, if you have income from it and you send it to your tier 1 exchange, just claim it as income. Claim it over the top in your category of gain versus loss. If you have a gain there, just add it to over the top so that you're paying for the gains. But there's really no rhyme or reason, because a lot of tax attorneys tell you not to do that, and then some. It's so stupid. So I'm not going to go there. But I just wanted to acknowledge I seen the question. And Frankie Fresh and Janine, I hope you're both having a blessed day. Janine, I hope you're having a great day as well. And thank you guys for being in Tom's Army for over a year now. I can't believe it's been that long. Wow. Mrs. Stott and Mr. Stott, thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Maple Man, thanks for being in Tom's Army 6+ months with the XP Predictor as well. And then Mark Smith, thanks for 3 months. XRP John Hall, welcome in, my brother. Mark Smith, thanks for 3 months. I think that's everybody. I think I said Maple Man 6 months. Okay, now let's continue. Low Davon, welcome in. 2 hours, chart equals loss. Yeah, I know. That looks brutal. Looks brutal. Now, oh, I love seeing you both here. Tango, welcome in, and thanks for being in Towns Are 6 months as well with the XP Predictor. Now, this is what we see for Bitcoin. So the way it's set up, if we lose this, it's a problem. Now, right now, it does look like an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, but it also could be topping. I don't necessarily like the way it looks. 2 hour looks like it's breaking down. 4 hourly's pushing down quickly. And there's only 12 minutes to go in this candle. So I'm not necessarily liking these 4 hour candles to start the morning. It does look like, oh, right shoulder in the 5 minute as well. Let's see. It's going to break down easier what we were talking about. Yeah, I mean, look, it looks like a head and shoulders. Looks like a possible bear flag. If this is a bear flag forming, this is going to drop us right down in that 67K range. Yeah, these are brutal. There's no doubt about it. It's brutal. It was a nice week on the way it started, but now we got these evident, oh man. It's got a chance, one chance to reverse here, but if it breaks down below these, it's not going to look great. Bitcoin dominance down 1%, or not 1%. Bitcoin dominance up 5%. No, that's the futures. 0.26%. I think it's looking, the Bitcoin dominance, you can look at this one of two ways. One, that Bitcoin's about to have some movement, or two, the altcoins could very much fall pretty quickly against Bitcoin. Because I could look at this almost like, well, it's tough. That looks like a descending triangle. But this, or symmetrical, a falling, well, not a falling wedge, but man, even that looks weird. But that looks like it wants to break up, and dominance wants to control itself to the upside, possibly. But the way that this is set up, I don't know. Bitcoin is kind of unstable. But if this were to go up, the only reason I think this is going up is because alts are just going to fall much quicker. They're shaking the last of the cover calls before we move to the up. Ooh, I like that. I like that, Lost Boy. Tom, what are you looking for to make the bearish attitude on the charts to move to bullish? What signals are we looking for? If we want to make this go from bearish to bullish, it's simple for XRP. The easiest guide I can give you is this chart. I mean, it's the easiest. If you want to take a picture of this, that's the liquidity zone. We want to stay over 150. You can fall into there, but then you end up having that big siphoning zone. But we have this descending triangle, which is, it started off not as a descending triangle, as you can see, but it quickly turned into a topping reversal pattern, which formed the descending triangle. So you had resistance, support. Resistance, which is fine. That's fine. Even this is fine. Yes, it's not a good sign when we hit here and broke down so quick. And that gave the allure of the symmetric, or I mean, the descending triangle on the October 10th flush. But it still had a chance to come around, never got back up. Once it hit here, this was confirmation that this is very bearish. This, in fact, is a top. We already knew it was a top. I called it here that we were topping, and we should double top around. And that's exactly what happened. I called bear market start here. We got validation here and pushed into a very long-term 6, 7, 8, 9-month bear market. Or actually, it's more than that. No, because that started in July. So August, September, October, November, December, January. So about 7 months. If we get a rejection here, it's going to be about, I predict until about July. This will be about a 1-year bear market if we end up falling from here. And it's going to take a few months to recycle this. Summer months are not generally friendly for crypto. Normally people take a break. They go do what they got to do. And then by the time we get back into fall, back into that August, September area, we start to light a fire. And then it's the same thing as every year. When you see the pumpkins come out, you start to feel a little bit better. Remember January, we got the pumpkins out. In October, November consolidated into, we had a little bit of movement in the November, December, January. And then we dumped right back out. It's going to be the same thing over and rinse and repeat. The problem with this is no matter how you want to look at this, that is a brutal pull down in the daily. Being below $1.56 and having that big of a wick exposure right now, that is not a great sign. That almost looks like a exhaustion tip. The fact we came up through an ABC corrective wave and it hit our exact point at the exact date doesn't make me feel any better about the fact we're going to break down. Like, all of these things are piling up. That was our corrective wave, in my opinion, if it hit like that. And how was I supposed to know it was going to hit exactly the same day I put it? That's the part to me where it doesn't help my cause that I'm not a wizard, or that I'm not predicting the charts, or that I'm not actually moving the charts myself. That doesn't help the cause that it hits it on the exact 4-hour candle where I marked it. I almost can't even believe that. Look at where that hit. That makes me, oh man. Does anybody even realize how great that was, how we predicted that? I say we because it's a team. We're a team in this community. Do you remember when we did that, calling that the bottom, and then we've said from here, and that was on February 11th, that it would take until February 15th was where we were predicting that to hit the resistance, because we matched it up with that downtrending resistance at that $1.65. That's insane. I can't, that might be one of the better, well, no, it's not, because in the bull market of 21, when we called the top, we predicted the big drop would go first to 52 cents before we had a bull trap, and then it hit 52 cents. So that, in fact, will be the best one. But this was pretty good. I like this. Hey, see you later, Lost Boy. Have a blessed morning, my friend. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in on this Saturday morning. I got to go to Grand Rapids here shortly. I got about a 3.5, 4-hour drive. My son's got his surgeon appointment. Every 3-4 months we go. He's got to get his G-tube change out. Just an overall checkup, weight, and he checks the site, makes sure everything's good. So we're willing to do that 3-4 times a year for our son. Go up there. It's in, we go to Grand Rapids because they have the children's hospital up there. And we kind of, well, they almost killed him down here where I live, so twice. So no more of that. And they're too stupid down here. Anyhow, it's Corwell up there, which is beautiful. They switched Beaumont down here to Corwell, but it's not the same. It's still Beaumont nonsense. 152. Yeah, so we're going to have an interesting day. Chances on this reversal in percentage as your opinion. Below $1.56, 90%. If it's below $1.56, it's better than a 90% chance we're just going to break down. The moment we lose $1.34, 95%. So where we're sitting at right now, I'd say it's an 80% probability this breaks down. The fact we're below $1.56, the fact that we hit that ABC corrective wave on the nose, this doesn't seem like a spot where you would want to tempt the market, because this is where all of a sudden you get 10% downs from the top. Quick. XRP's hiding it right now, how bearish it is with that reversal, because it's one of the few that's still up. And what do we always say when the market's going to go from bullish to bearish in the short term? XRP is the last to run, and it runs violently. Well, I believe we fit that parameter yesterday. So XDC, if we're looking for a hold, that 4-hour candle is closing in 4.5 minutes. If everything closes here, that's an engulfing candle to the downside, and it effectively wiped out the previous 3 candles. That's not good. We almost got a confirmation if we could have had a breakout over the top. Unfortunately, we took out the last 3 candles in themselves, the last 3 4-hour candles, almost a fourth. And then for XDC, just like across the board, we're seeing the same thing. There's no volume. For the movement we've had, to have that little volume it's a disgrace. There's no interest in crypto right now. That doesn't mean you can't make money on swings when you're overexhausted, you have imbalances. Remember, we had a 90-something% shorts were wiped out on that previous drop to $1.13 for XRP compared to 4% longs. And that was after we had a 90% to 10% imbalance on the drop before that. So it definitely made a nice setup. So, but I think there's going to come a time at this, let me just phrase it this way. Yes, we were able to get extra capital on this, let's call it bull trap, if that's how it plays out. But I'm going to tell you right now, if this breaks down like we think, this would be the drop of all drops if we go down there, and don't you hesitate this time. For whatever reason, if we go down to 86 cents or down to 72 or 61 or whatever it ends up being, that is this next drop down. If we make new lows, do not hesitate. You will have to make a very difficult decision on which spot exactly you want to do it. And like I said, there is not a 100% guarantee here. We'll see if $1.56 is finally, if that's the tap there, and because we were over by so much and it broke down, and if that's the point of no return now, it's fine. At least now we know, right? At least now we know that we did get that ABC corrective, and that's why it was showing that with XRP. Now we know that's why it was showing us it. And now that it completed the 3-wave corrective wave, and the beauty of it is that it hit the resistance perfectly around that $1.65. So we don't even have to stress about it going from 156 to 141 up to 165 now. It already went to 165. So in that way, it did us a favor, like a huge favor. Because this market could have been real dickish, so to say, and it could have went, 150 back down to 141, up to 156, and kind of make it a little more tricky. So we'll see. We'll see exactly how the market wants to react to this. We got 2 minutes until this candle closes, and it looks brutal right now. In all regards, on everything. Every 4-hour candle looks worse than the other. Look at these 4-hour candles underneath the 200-day as well. And this was my prediction yesterday. I talked about that we were double topping on the stochastic, and eventually we were going to roll over. I predicted 10.48 roughly for H bar and that move up out of this breakout. So that was my not top end, but that was my prediction. Unless we broke out of this and started pushing 14.7, which doesn't seem likely in the way we're set up, we had to hold that. It's not broken down completely, but this seems like an opportunity for the stochastic to clear out. But we'll see. Like I said, it's a very volatile Sunday. There's no guarantees in this market. There never is. But there's something to be said for setting up. This is what I want everybody to do. I want you to predict in a chart. I want you to set up what you think is going to happen, even if you don't buy. This is a good test. And then if it plays out the way you thought, and you look at it and you go, you know what, I need to have more confidence in myself. Not only I'm measuring this up, but it's hitting exactly where I'm thinking. You got to put some confidence on your name and your knowledge. And if you want to know more, if you want to know not just market structure, how to trade crypto or Forex or the gold markets or commodities or precious metals or the Dow, NASDAQ, Russell 2, or if you want to trade any of that, or deeper, if you want to know what money versus currency, store of value versus not, anything in between, if you want to know yesteryear versus tomorrow or today, if you want to know just the psychology, the human anatomy, what goes into it, knowing everything that goes into the psychology of a trade, Join the live classes. The next class is tomorrow. I'm still doing it in Grand Rapids. It'll be the 5th class. We're in phase 2. You don't have to join live. You don't have to be live. This is going to be an ever-growing database. You can go back and watch it, and it's going to look different on the 5th class. It's not going to have the same cover art. It's not going to say the same things. The next phase is different. That took 4 parts, and this is indefinitely. So if you want to learn at a deeper level, you don't have to. You don't have to pay to learn anything. I teach for free every single day. I come on minimum 1 time a day live for an hour or more. I do a short. I do other videos. A lot of times I come on twice a day, you know, and I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021. If you're new, and I have not missed a single day, not one. You're talking about 5 years in a row, you know, 1,800 days or so. I haven't missed a single day of doing this, and there's been a lot of weird stuff that's happened. So if you want to learn deeper, you can always join the classes. They're $49.99 a month. I teach it through Zoom, but you have the ability to watch it through YouTube, so you don't have to pay the Zoom fees. That's why I did it like that. I pay the Zoom stuff, so I can teach it like a virtual class. So if you're interested, there's always that. I don't promote it really, except maybe once during the live, so people know. It's in the video description below or pinned comments. But you know, that's a special thing that I really like to do. Crypto Plumber says you've helped me tremendously just through the membership in the Telegram. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let me go and thank some of you who sent gift sub. Crypto Plumber, thanks for rejoining Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. I know you've been in and you changed your debit card, but I'm just blessed that you get to keep that emoji badge whichever month you're on. I don't know between 6 and 11 because the 12th month is the 1-year badge. That's how YouTube does it. 1, 2, 3, 6, 1. And then every year after that, you can do a badge. And right now, we're about to have a 5-year member. So we're coming up to it, I think, in a month and a half, because I became partnered in 2 weeks, 2 weeks. But then it took, I think, 4 weeks for you to be able to do subscriptions after that. But thank you so much for that, Crypto Plumber. Welcome back. CJ2 Pilot, thanks for the $19.99 super chat, and also in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. That's for Little T's trip. Oh, thank you so much for that. We have a very kind and considerable audience. We're a very considerate audience. Very, very considerate. GA Stormrider, thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Low Devin says exactly as predicted. We did a good job in this community. I don't like to say it's a very big thing for me to talk about us as a group, because there's a lot of people that put in a lot of effort in here for a couple weeks as well, as we were building out that descending wedge and that bottoming formation at $1.13. But now there's a lot more work to do. Did we top? Is that ABC correct of what it is? Did H-bar finish a 5-wave? Did some of these other finish 5 waves? Did Algo? Did H-bar? Did XDC come up to bad spots where they just couldn't push through? And now are we going to get that 10, 15, 20% immediate crush? Because a lot of times on the weekend, if we're coming back to hunt gaps, you're going to see a 20% reversal in XRP in one day, and it's going to suck. It's not going to seem like it because of how high up it went. But I'm going to keep this up here for a minute so you can see that wave is completed now. It's completed. Everything that we were waiting for is completed. We're down. And if it comes back down to that, what was it, $1.41? You're looking at a 15.8% intraday reversal. That's not good. Better yet, you need to come down here if you want to validate this movement up after such volatility. We never back tested it the appropriate way. So, I mean, there's a big, wide movement here that can absolutely happen here. And I'm just glad we're on the other side. I'm just glad we're not chasing. I'm glad that we're waiting. Now, if this forms a descending wedge here or something, we'll talk about it. And then we'll say, wow, this formed another bullish continuation. MQ, welcome in. Really appreciate you tuning in. Tom's Army 3+ months with the XRP Meteor, and also a very trusted mod in this community. We came down 50% of the move and are holding the 9-day moving average. We sure are. We sure are, but just where we're at sitting symmetrically, the 9-day doesn't mean much to me, if I'm being honest. I'm looking at a bigger pattern than 9 days. But yes, the 9-day short support has to hold. Otherwise, it starts to break down in a worse way. So I put that. So basically, if you want to know why I put the liquidity box, it basically represents right or wrong MQ the way I do it. Does it not basically represent your 9-day support at $1.50? Even though it's a little bit low, I guess you could go a little bit lower. I don't know, because when you swing back around from this way, you really don't want to come much farther back into this zone. Telling you, that's a drawdown zone. That'll draw you right back down 9.6% possibly. And it makes perfect sense because if you actually look at this in a real examining way, where's the spot that it would have to come down to hold? I mean, that's a 9%. That's perfectly, look at that. That'd be about $1.37-ish. And where's that drawdown zone? That drawdown zone gets us, that's too perfect. It gets us right into that area. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting week. I have a very methodical way I do things. So, like, I'm very, very, very direct with how I do things. You know, I don't go down to the 9-day. I don't go anything lower than the 20-day support. The 9-day is great because it shows a short-term reversal, but oftentimes it's just the kind of that. I don't know. I don't like to be tripped up at the 9-day. I used to do the simple moving averages and thing like that at the 9-day. I used to do the 920 or the 9. What I used to do the 928. I switched it out before. It's like 9-day, 28-day, 40. Anyhow, but I like the 20, 50, 100, 200. I just think the way it creates, it works really well, especially when you pair it with the stochastic. Because then you can get that short-term intermediate movement from the shorter out, as where with my EMAs, I can get the 20 days and out, but I can get the 19 days and in just by using stochastic. So it's a very unique way I do things. That's why I think I'm very different than others. I think that's why I come up with different numbers, but quite similar, but maybe might be a tad bit more on the out ahead moments, I guess. I don't know how to put it. Not with MQ because MQ's too damn smart, but with most. MQ I would put on my page. MQ, Nick, and a few others, I think you're on the same level. You may say no, but I disagree. William Hayes, welcome in, and thanks for being in town on 6+ months with the XRP predictor. And also gifting a sub this morning. Wow. Plague Vendor, congratulations on being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge. I just noticed I look a little tired this morning, don't I? Whoa. Plus the light shining in my eye, weird. It was coming in through this window. Crypto Plumber says, save me a ton of money and heartache. That's what I'm here for. That's why I come here every day regardless. That's why I did the update yesterday at Phantom of the Opera. People are like, oh, he walked out to go say it. No, I was sitting in my seat. If you look at it, I was literally sitting in my seat with the people behind me and in front of me. I told you I have no moral compass. I just do what I have to do. And it was before the show, about 2 minutes before it started. So I had plenty of time to get that update out. Joseph Euler, thanks for gifting that sub and being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Alex and Ramirez, congratulations on getting that gifted sub for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And again, that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge. And Crypto Plumber, 8 months now in Tom's Army. Excellent. Lowe says, dates I'm watching also. February 26 as square confirmation. It's on Epstein's shirt. G squared 20 squared as the start date. Or he was just obsessed also with the codes they made. These people were, oh, for sure. Yes, we only lost. Okay. We now lost the 9-day. 9-day is short term. Absolutely. I just wanted to give that personal picture for everybody so they understood what I was doing and why they need to listen to you too. I really think there's a few of us that if we listen to, oh my God. The Phantom of the Opera tired me out. Oh, I mean, I got down there at 4:30 with Julie, Michaela, Scarlett. But it was a 2.5 hour show, so literally it was hot as hell in there. A lot of people. And It went from about 7:30. We didn't leave there until almost 10:30. So it was, I mean, we were in there just for the show with intermission for almost 3 hours. We didn't get home until probably closer to 11:30, 12. By the time I fell asleep, it was like 1, 2 o'clock. And what do? I'm like, I got to get up. I got to go do my short. I got to do a live. And then I got to go up to Grand Rapids at noon. So it's like boom, boom, boom. But I'm always thinking about work. The show was phenomenal. Oh, it was phenomenal. The only thing that made it better than finally going to see a show like that with Julie was being able to take the girls and having Michaela come down from Western. I mean, she's got to drive back today, so she's got an equally long drive as we do. Nope, we didn't really wait in lines because we got there right when the doors opened. We were like the fifth person in line because it opened at 6, the doors. When we walked in, it was nice. I walked in, I went into and I don't drink a lot, so I went in and I grabbed a whiskey sour right when we got in. And then I had a Jack and Coke, but I didn't even drink it. It was like 3/4 of the way still left when I left. But there was a lot of people. A lot of people. By the time 7:30 came around, it was like being in the middle of a hallway that can fit 500 people, but has 5,000. That's how it was. Intermission, I walked out 5 minutes before intermission to take a piss and get Julie stuff and grab tissue for Scarlett. And then by the time I came back, the hallways were so jammed. I'm just standing there going, oh man. But I got to watch the chandelier drop down because the guards were getting ready to open the doors, like the ushers or whatever. So they opened it in the middle and they were watching it. So I walked over to the middle on the second floor and I watched it from there until it was time. I did not bring any edibles. I was going to, and I completely forgot. Oh, it would have made it much better. I mean, it was beautiful though. Yep, I did not do it, and I did not do anything during intermission. I watched everybody during intermission go do what they had to do. I was standing by the door, and it was fun though. I'll be honest, it was fun. It was the first time I ever seen it live. I've seen it a couple times, on TV and then in movie renditions and things like. It's a lot easier to follow in the movie. I'll tell you that much. But they really did. They encapsulated it perfectly because by the end you felt really bad for the let's call him the Phantom of the Opera. But anyhow, it was nice. I know Define's wife came down, I believe, to Michigan to watch it on Thursday. Came down to the Detroit Opera House from Canada. Pretty sure that's where they came in the States. I know Define didn't, but I know his wife and his daughter, I believe, came down and watched it Thursday, which is awesome. Um, Funny because 2020 correct vision. Hmm. I don't really feel too tired though. I feel pretty good. It's just sometimes I do a lot of stuff, so you know I'm always I dedicate into what I do here. Ernie Lightning, thanks for being in Tom's under 3+ years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Cannabis podcast over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. And A-Man also in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Beautiful. So is Lonzo in here this morning. I need crypto to stay down for 3 weeks. If we break down, you're probably going to get more than 3 weeks, if I'm being honest. Because to form the proper bottom, normally XRP, let's just say it goes down. And I understand we can go to 53, 61, but let's just look at it in the all-time perspective. Let's say XRP does finish this descending wedge. And I'm going to show you why this is so freaking bullish if it stays in front of here, because this is on the all-time cup and handle. And we didn't make this up. We didn't know it was going to form a descending wedge here. It did it. We didn't tell it to do it. The chart did it. The chart did it. We didn't do it. I could argue it didn't even come down here for the third tap, which guarantees a third tap down here under $1. But I digress. But that's a descending wedge in the making. You've already got 3 rejections. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Not a technical. I mean, you could say third, but it didn't technically tap it. And I'm very, very. I need it to hit it. I'm very particular with this stuff, and it's not even close to it, if I'm being honest. We're not even fucking close. Excuse me. So it actually can come down farther. I don't remember if that was on the phone that set it up like that or what, but this can come farther than that, even 86. That's how we get that 60 level. That makes more sense. So yeah, we haven't come down there yet. But we better, if we break that down, then we have another problem. If we break this down, that's when you'd have a bigger problem. If we break down the all-time, and we're not talking 8-year setup. Well, yeah, it is 8 years. If we break down the all-time 8-year consolidation of this cup and handle with the descending, oh, it's over. This is where you come down to reset entire patterns and below. If you break this entire integrity, crypto winner isn't even the right term. MQ, what would you call it if we broke down the all-time cup and handle that's forming a descending wedge and don't hold it? What would you consider this pattern? This would be the, I don't even want to think of what would happen. I mean, that's where you fill those 3-cent gaps, 2-cent gaps, I think. 10-cent gap. Limitless, any chance of going to $1.36 today? I don't know if we can get down there today. I think what we're looking at today, if we break down, is that firm, that $1.41 layer. And then I could even see maybe $1.41 if it held. Go to, because look where this is at right now. We have a reversal possibly in the daily, but it would have to land somewhere around here. You don't want to have this big extension up when the daily starts. It would, the way it's set up, it suggests, I mean, man, I wouldn't be surprised if when I got to Grand Rapids, we started to have a little bit of a cratering if we can't recover here in the next hour or two. I could see us in the mid 140s, low 140s today if this doesn't hold at $1.50. Salah, welcome in, my brother. Says, yo, Tom, how about Algo? You see any further drop? Absolutely. If this falls down, Algo's nowhere even near where it's going to go. It got the perfect rejection, and it's basically got one chance on this little uptrend that it formed, and I don't even feel too good about that. But if it continued to pull down, you could be looking at 9.2 for its destiny point, just to see if there's any kind of extension that was created here, which I highly doubt it. But you can't say it's going to fall under 9.2 until it does. But if it breaks 9.2, you're coming all the way down here at some point. Because that's the target. This is the target. I can't make that up. Algo says we have support. We can't confirm a pattern until the third tap at least. And that would bring it down to 7.3. That's 20% from here. And then the upward would be 7-cent area up to 43 would be the potential. Or if we go in real time and move it out until, let's just say November, then you're talking 7.3 to 41. That would be, is that your bull market? Some people, oh, this bullshit. 7 to 41? I bought it at fucking $2. Well, that's the problem with, it's timing the market and not time in market. Time in market is stupid unless you time it properly. Anybody could say I'm buying it anywhere and I'm going to hold it forever. I think that's a cop-out. What you want to say is I'm going to fine-tune this. I'm going to pinpoint my permanent entry. And if it comes down there to that 7.3 cents and it holds, I'm hanging on for dear life. And then I'm going to ride it all the way up from 7 cents in theory, because we're going to be so significantly oversold in the weekly as it's pulling down. The monthly is already substantially oversold. The daily needs significantly to reverse. And if it comes down there, it's going to reverse a lot. But we have no guarantee yet. We're still in the consolidatory area, just like with everything else. It's spookified. With Julie's permission, I hope one day to take the jet to Texas, pick up the stats, and come to Clawson to cut your hair on a lot. Yeah, someone might have to hold me down. Oh, that's awesome. CJ True Pilot Maveman says that would be great. You might have to hold him down while Mrs. Stott does. Yeah, you might have to bring the old you might have to. My ultimate goal with all of this is to get into this bear market this time. I think we're in a bear market, but to get to these lows and for us to universally finally grab a hold. For some of us, it's the first time around, but for some of us, it's the third time around with cycles. But this is the part that sucks. This is where it bounces around, up and down, left and right. Nobody really knows. So But pay attention to the 9-day moving average, like MQ said, in case we get back on top. I mean, I would look at that $1.56 area too. Like, if you're not above $1.56, you're not anywhere. If you're below $1.50, you're in the liquidity zone again, and that could drop you down 9.5%, even if you're going to hold. So everybody's in. You guys know the old goal here that we started. The whole dream is once we finish out this properly, and it might take a few more years, but my goal is to be able to buy a universal house on one of the Great Lakes that's open to anybody in the audience. Obviously, it's like the Fight Club rule. You don't talk about it, but when you're there, you treat it like it's your own castle. Otherwise, you're banned forever. But that's what I want to do, and it's going to be the open door policy. Everybody comes in, everybody goes out, and you can hang out as long as you want, but we have to keep it looking nice. And I'm very stingy. So, if people can follow the rules and we'd be right on the lake, that's my vision. And it's going to happen. I know it is. I know one day it's going to happen. Now for XRP, if we hold $1.50, I still think we could bounce around even if we break down to that $1.56, possibly. But it's going to take some work at this point, obviously, because right now we've started off pretty bearish. At least the 2 hourly, we're trying to figure it out around $1.52. That's where you really want to hold if we can bounce off the 20. It's nice to see we got oversold in the 2 hourly, so that is so off topic, but I thought it was wild. Hey Tom, give us a flex. I can give you a flex. It's been a good week. Look at that. I made some substantial gains over the winter time. I didn't notice until yesterday when I had my dress shirt on. And when I seen it, I put my arm up to look in the mirror and I'm like, holy shit. But yeah, I've been definitely putting the work in. I might have to trim out a little bit because when you start to put on muscle, sometimes. Yeah, my son. It's just it's a standard thing where it should go good. He's gonna get the new They switch out his G tube every 3 to 4 months, and everything's good. He seems good. He did throw up yesterday morning, as you guys know, at 4 a.m., but it seemed to just be from sometimes you get the acid buildup and stuff, and just the way he is sometimes. Yeah. Gonna need to donate the hair. I could donate my hair to somebody. It'd be nice. Have to make sure I keep it nice and black. I mean, it's my natural hair color right now, but God knows it grays up since I was 18. I'd rather have hair and gray up, but that's okay. But yeah, I mean, how long have we been on? About an hour. I'm gonna have to get going here in a little bit because we got this car ride. That'll take us 3.5, 4 hours. I'll do one more flex. It really showed up this morning. Look at that. I like that. I can't even believe that's my arm. Fuck. Does that come across good on here? Does that not look like anything? I can't tell. I think it does. Such a small damn circle, though. Such a small circle. Let's see. Got to get the Jackson. Same here. I've been gray since 18 too. I'm about half gray now, though, and I'm 40. I'm 42, and I would say I'm a good half to 3/4 probably. Although sometimes, it hangs on pretty good. But I've been doing it for a long. I remember I was in high school and I had gray hairs, and my teachers are like, in their 40s and 50s with no grays. I'm like, look at my hair. Obviously, they were balding, and I said, just, if I keep my hair, I don't mind. I don't mind. You can always call. And I don't use like a hair dye. I use just it's a herbal shampoo, and it literally has no chemicals, none of that crap, and it uses like the one I use just uses like a black walnut, and it uses the dye from it, and it mixes the black walnut, and it's a natural blackening. So that's what I started using. It's pretty cool, actually. Pretty cool. But everybody says, like I was like an old man when I was younger, anyhow. A black lady walked up to me when I was like 10, and she goes, you remind me of a 75 or an old black woman. She's like, you have that kind of an essence. And she walked up to me I'm walking with my mom in the grocery store, and she just randomly walks up to me and says that. Huh. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Um,
found his car.
He did already?
Yeah.
Oh, that sneaky son of a gun. I got him cars for the car ride and he found them. My arms are so small on the screen I can cover with a pen. That's awesome. I was told today that gray hairs is a copper deficiency. I don't know. I take a lot of stuff. I don't take copper. I don't think. Yeah, I know that's the one thing that's disappointing. I can't go to church today. It wouldn't have worked out. But that's okay. You know, the Lord knows I have my best intentions. And I still have my I love this thing. Julie got me it for Christmas. You're all good, totally awesome, but hopefully everybody has oh, my goatee. If I don't dye my goatee with the hair stuff that it's not even a dye, but that stuff that I just told you about. What's it called? I'll tell you what it's called. I'm telling you, if you have black hair, use it. Put it in, you just put it in like a shampoo. I don't even use a different shampoo when I do it. I'll use a different conditioner. Um just to make my hair softer because it gets pretty frizzy. And like, well, when your hair is this long, it gets clumpy too if you don't take care of it. Fortunately, I do. What's it called? I just had to get more of it, I think, last week. I was first time in a while. Yeah, this one's called, and this is the one that I really liked. It's ammonia free without all this nonsense. And this is supposed to be a no stain one, but this one is a herbal infusion. And this one uses, so they use ginger to promote healthy hair growth by stimulating the scalp, improving circulation. They have Rita helps cleanse the scalp, remove excess oil, and promote healthy, shiny hair. Ginseng enhances scalp circulation, helping to nourish hair follicles and support stronger, healthier hair growth. And the olives deeply nourishes and hydrates the hair, leaving it nice and soft. I can't remember what their black agent is in this one. And you're supposed to use it like once every couple weeks. So you don't use it every day. It's like every 3 to 4 weeks. But this one has no ammonias in it either, so that's why I like this one. But yeah, this is a great one. It's called, in my opinion, this is probably my favorite one. I've used a bunch of them. It's called BioRoot. They're BioGreen. BioGreen Roots is what it's called. But yeah, it looks like this, if you're wondering. Looks like that. That's what it looks like. I wonder if you can see the BioGreen. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it looks like. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go put the rest of my stuff away. I gotta get my tablet set up because I gotta bring this with me. I look forward to seeing everybody in the class tomorrow. I'm thinking I'm gonna do some content tonight while I'm there. I usually do on Sunday nights. I don't use the 9 EMA to be honest. That's MQ. That's MQ. I was just talking about what he was talking about. I like the 20, 50, 100, 200, and then I use the stochastic, the stock RSI to give me yeah, for the loss of hair, biotin mixed with vitamin K is what I discovered. I had male pattern goatee baldness down here, where when I first met Julie, this entire spot wouldn't grow right here. And I equate it to, I used Just for Men's one time, and when I put it in, it like burned off the hair when I was younger, and it would not grow. And then I started taking my different vitamins, and then once I incorporated biotin with vitamin K and those two combinations, my hair grew back, and I was like, "Holy shit! I think I discovered what helps hair grow." It was that combination. Once I added the biotin and vitamin K, literally my hair grew back right here. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna go bald on the top of my head. My dad's bald. Like he balded out. He's all back. He's got a big bald spot. My brother's going bald, and he's 2 years, well, not bald, but it's receding. And mine just, I've always had on the top right here, I've always had like the widow's peak or whatever, and it's a very defined one. Like there's no hair up here. And you see my big ass skull because of it. But I've always had that since I was a kid. I never understood. I just thought I was bald right there. You got bumped out, MQ. I mean, I you had a nice little run up there. Oh, you got bumped out. Okay. I got to go to Grand Rapids. My son's getting his G tube changed. He has to get it every 3 to 4 months. So he's getting his G tube changed. They're just gonna make sure everything's going good. Weigh him, just look at the site. So I got to go up there, but I should be up there by about 4 o'clock at the latest. Hopefully 3:34. But I'm gonna end this right now so I can put my bag together and we can get out of here. So be blessed. I thank you all for the attention. It was a phenomenal live. About 170 people here the entire time. Even 112 people here as I log out, or 108. Thank you all so much for the likes. 126.